Hi guys, welcome to my Sizzlen stamp studio. I'm actually not in my studio today, I'm at home, but I'm getting ready and excited to share this super cute video with you guys that is all about this and that's about squirrels and making a super cute treat pouch and coordinating note card. And this is an original, a video that's originally was done for a local community class where I teach monthly or every other month. So let's get started and let's see what is in your kit. So for this month, for this Squirrely Treat pouch and note card, I've already pulled one item out. In your kit, you have a piece of cinnamon cider. And because, once again, this time, based on my surgery, we are doing it curbside, I went ahead and pre-punched this window in your cardstock. So you have a half a sheet of cinnamon cider cardstock with a label punch in it. You're going to have a vanilla note card and a vanilla envelope. You have some piece of designer series paper. This is from our paper that is Beauty of the Earth, but it's absolutely stunning. It has papers that you can see kind of all the seasons in. And I've selected ones that are a little bit more fall-like, but they're all different. So yours may not look like this one. And so for example, this is another one that we have, but they're all double-sided. So if you don't like one side, hopefully you like another. And you'll notice I'm making two piles as I show you what's in your kit. This is going to be the items for your note card, and this is going to be the items for the Squirrely Treat pouch. All right, also in your kit, you have, I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but it's a sheet, a 3x3 square of clear window sheeting. You've got, everyone has this cute piece of paper that looks like a small little grove of trees. And if you go to make the card and you don't love the tree look, you can always flip it over and it's got some gray olives and greens on that. That's for your card. A little piece of linen thread, and that is going to be, lost my train of thought. Just set that aside for a moment. I can't, my brain does this to me sometimes. I don't remember things properly. All right, so let me try to get all the little things. So when you open your kit, make sure you don't lose like this little acorn. He goes with that twine. And that is going to go on your treat pouch. And then you have 3 leaves, a variety. So I don't know what you'll get. There's a variety of different colors and cardstocks. And then you also have this. This was the punch piece from here. We're going to be using that on our card. And the twine and acorn goes over here. And we're going to end up stamping and this little piece of beautiful woven ribbon goes with your treat pouch as well. And then we're going to be stamping this Nuts About You sentiment on the circle that goes with your treat card. And you're going to see we're going to be talking about stamping the squirrel. And that squirrel on that vanilla scrap goes with your note card. I've got some extras out here already because I want to focus a little bit more on putting the items together. And I want to show you some various ways you can color your squirrel. So that's why I've got some extras. All right, so we're going to start with the note card. So let's actually set aside all of your little pieces for your Squirrely Treat pouch. Oh, and I forgot to mention, you have the cutest ever little squirrel candies. Now, I am so sorry to let you know that everyone only has 2 in their pouch, so you will have to put some other things in your treat pouch, whether that's chocolates or a pack of nuts or whatever. But I went to try to get more of these, and they were not available. But I had to give you at least 2 because they're so adorable. And you can fill your treat pouch with other things and then put these two little guys to where they're going to show through in the window. And I will show you that when we get there. So cute. So, all right, so let's start with our note card. And we will start with our scrap of vanilla. And we are going to use the little adorable squirrel that is holding the acorn in his little paws. So we're going to go ahead and use Memento Black ink. And you're going to stamp him on that vanilla, just like so. And then we're going to be doing a little bit of coloring. And I brought two different methods to show you a few techniques. So I've got my alcohol blend pens here, but you may not have those in your stamping collection, especially if you're tuning in from my community group. So I want to make sure to show you, trying to find, I guess I need each pack, but you can choose even just a regular colored pencil. I'm going to use the browns. So this is Early Espresso, and we're going to use Cajun Craze. And maybe a little bit of crushed curry or yellow. Just whatever shades, but I like there to be multiple shades when I'm using my watercolor pencils. It just gives it a little bit more realistic effect. So you're going to see I'm going to take with my pencils and I'm going to do the light shade first all over. I use a similar method whether I'm using watercolor pencils or blends. I always go light to dark. Now that's not required. You can color however you prefer. That's just what works for me to get the look that I like. And you'll notice I'm not being even very detailed on my little squirrel. I come into my acorn and do that with some of the darker. And I'm going to bring in this Cajun Craze, which is more of a rust color. And I'm not even going fully to the line. I'm going to bring that rust color on in there a little bit. Now I'm going to start going in with this rust on top of that crushed curry. And again, I'm not doing it perfectly. I like to make little lines when I'm doing fur. That's just my method of what works for me. So I'm just merely going over it kind of in a quick scribbly method, if you will. And then I'm going to come back in with my dark. And the dark one, I want to leave kind of lighter on the undertone of his belly and on the what I think might be the underneath of his tail. So I'm just going to bring that darker color in a couple of places. All right, now, then you can use a watercolor brush and water if you want. I'm going to be using a glycerin pen because it's neater and less mess, and you get the same, pretty close to the same effect. Very similar at least. And you just take that and go over it. Again, I go over him in the scribbly kind of scratchy marks. That's more about kind of trying to create a little bit of fur texture on my work than it is anything else. And then we're just coloring in that. And you see the great thing about the glycerin pen, you just wipe it off, but it doesn't take color to color here. It didn't matter. But isn't he super cute? This is why I have extra scrolls pre-stamped. So now I'm going to show you coloring with the alcohol markers. And if you love paper crafting, or if you love coloring, like if you love coloring in a coloring book, you would probably really love the alcohol blends. So this is our Pill Papaya Light. And I'm going to do him all over with the Pill Papaya. Very similar as what you saw me do with watercolor pencils. It just goes a lot faster, and you don't have to do that blending step necessarily. We're going to bring in, this is light soft suede. And you see that I'm working once again light to dark. And see how it's really mushy pen? And we may or may not like that. But for right now, it's okay. When I go back, I always go light, dark, darker, you know, and then I come back in and do my light color at the very end. This is a little bit, this is called dark cinnamon cider. So I'm going to come in and put a little bit of that color in my squirrel. Otherwise, he almost looks a little bit sickly. He's almost albino-y. All right. And then we'll bring that dark in just in a couple of places. And that's more to give some shading. And then we're going to come back in with our, actually we're going to come back in with our light Pale Papaya. That's the lightest color I used. And I always go back in with a final with the light if I'm trying to really blend those colors and lines. Okay, so that's a fast blender pen coloring. And then the last one I'm going to show you is again using the blender pens, but to kind of show you how to create that fur-like texture. And I'm probably only going to do his tail, just so it doesn't take a lot of time. Again, you're looking at trying to do strokes that are creating fur. You can also flip it and come in and use that little bullet point if you have a tiny area that you need to fur up. And it's just a matter of doing tiny, tiny lines over and over, over and over, over and over. And then you come in, same treatment for your colors as I showed before. This is just kind of trying to create a little bit more essence of fur. And you'll be able to see it side by side once I lay it up here next to the one that I just colored solidly. See, I'm not even doing the whole tail. I just wanted you to kind of get the effect of this part of the bushy tail that I'm doing it. I'm doing it with the wide tip, and then this part of his body that I'm showing you, I'm just doing it with the bullet tip. And as you add more color, you don't necessarily completely fill in the rows. So now I'm going to come back in here with my lightest shade, and that's just to blend those alcohol markers all together. But you get a little bit more distinction of kind of a fur type treatment. So there's three ways you can color your swirl. And of course, if you don't have a glycerin pen or watercolor, you can use straight old plain regular colored pencils as well, or markers that you have. You can do a washable marker as well. I just didn't bring my markers, my Stampin' Up! Washable markers out because I almost always use the blends. So when you get whatever swirl you like, we're going to use this pencil one for today. You're going to quickly cut him out. Now this is a stamp set that is so cute for fall, but it does not have dies that coordinate to cut the little squirrels or anything out. So you do have to do a bit of what I call fussy cutting. And that is just taking my little scissors, and I always prefer to use these paper snips, a tiny pair of paper snips. I love the ones Stampin' Up! Sells purely because they have a curved blade. So a little pair that have a curved blade, and the reason you want that curved blade is it lets you maneuver around these little tiny rounded parts of an image, the curved parts of an image, a little bit easier than, say, my long straight scissors that I like to use those if I have to do a quick paper cut that's straight, because I have a very hard time to just cut a straight line with these scissors because they do have a curved blade. So once you get your little squirrel cut out, you set him aside for the moment. And now we're going to start building a card. All right, and we're going to lay our envelope up there. And the note card, this is a note card, so it's a smaller card, but I love them because they're a nice thick weight. They come pre-scored for you and everything. So you're going to end up with some semblance, whether you want to do this side or this side, it's up to you. But you're going to have some semblance. We're going to see if we like this grove of trees or not. I think so. I'm going to pull that band on up and get your adhesive, whatever you prefer. I'm going to be using our seal, but you can use a white glue like our multi-purpose Tombow. You're going to glue that band on the lower third of your card, and then you're going to take and you're going to glue this label right about so. And I know you're shocked because I'm having us flat glue something, but we are a punch because typically I dimensional this. All right, now is the fun part. So now you're going to glue your little squirrel. And again, you guys who have been with me a lot know that I promote that everyone has these dimensionals because they just take and give your card an extra little wow. A little ump. So we're going to set our little squirrel right like so. And then we've got these cute little leaves. And we want to, of course, pop those up as well. But I'm thinking I might need to cut. If you have the mini dimensionals, those will probably work better. I just didn't grab mine out here at the camera. For your little leaves. So we have some oak leaves and some maple leaves, and they're all variety of colors, of fall colors. So you're going to put some dimensionals, and if you don't have dimensionals, you're just going to glue them on flat. And this is where you get to have some fun on placing these leaves. I started to put this kind of deep red, cherry cobbler, or merlot. I'm not sure which, but I decided I wanted this red to kind of be more up by my squirrel since that's a lot of browns, and put the cinnamon, the Cajun craze leaf down a little further. And then we're going to have this curry one there. And that's it. That's our card. And if you want, you can stamp a sentiment inside. Again, let me put the stamp set out here so you can see. But because we're doing curbside this time, I'm not doing a lot of sentiment stuff. So this set, though, comes with this Hope You're Feeling Bright-Eyed and Bushy-Tailed. So cute. Hey There, Nuts About You, which you're going to see we're going to use that on our Squirrely Treat pouch, and then Happy Birthday. You've got a branch, 2 different squirrels, and a leaf and a vein. And then these are the insides that if you have this stamp set, you can stamp the inside into a different color of ink and automatically color your squirrel that way. Same thing with this acorn. You could stamp it right in there and color it. But it's such a cute, very inexpensive set and so cute for fall. So that is our little note card that we're going to do. I know there's no, your leaves are your bling on this card. I know it is rare for me not to have included stuff, but I was doing good. I had to have a helper to get these kits out this month as it was. All right, so our next project is our Squirrely Treat pouch. So let's set aside all of our goodies for that. And let's first talk about making this. So you're starting out with, oops, I've got to get my scoring tool available. That will be part 1 of what Shannon probably needs to do here. All right. I'm going to go ahead and put my scoring tool on my camera area for the moment, just so you guys can see. And we'll still talk as we go. So I've gotten this one pre-done, but I want you to understand how to do this punching for yourself. And you may notice, you may see some little bit of notes here. I have to write those down, and that's part of this tutorial that's available for you as well. But I have to write it down or I won't remember when I'm doing my video. So when you have this piece of paper, which is 8.5 by 5.5, so it's a half of a sheet of cardstock. The first things we're going to do is on the 5.5 side, right here, so with this side up, we want to score that at the 5-inch mark. And I'm using the scoring tool, so I like to use this big end on heavy cardstock, and I just follow it right on down. Now, for those of you who have not followed me before, if you do not have a scoring tool or a paper trimmer with a scoring blade, you can do a couple of things. You can use a ruler, which I forgot to bring it in because I wanted to show you. You can use the ruler with the back edge of your scissor and go right down. You lay, let's pretend this is the ruler. I would lay my ruler, I would measure that out and lay my ruler, and then you can run it with the back side of a scissor. You can use anything like this is my pick tool lid. If you have a bone folder, a butter knife, anything that has kind of a dull indentation that will lay against the ruler securely and follow it down. So if you don't have a scoring tool and you don't have, or a paper trimmer with a scoring blade, that's how you're going to score. So you're going to lay, you're going to measure it out, and at the 5-inch mark, you're going to score down. You're basically going to have a 1/2-inch tab. Then you're going to turn it. Let's see, we have it like this. Then we're going to turn it a 1/4 turn to the left, like so. And we're going to score it at 4 inches down and at 8 inches. Okay? So like, for example, on this one, I didn't do my 5. So here's the 4, and then I would score here at the 8. All right, the reason I have this is going to become apparent now. I want to show you. When you look at it, you have a block here and a block here. This block is bigger because this is 8.5 and this is only 4 inches. So within that 4-inch window, let me flip it back. Now put the scoring at the bottom and then take whatever punch you want. I'm using our Label Me Lovely, and I always punch upside down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sit that all the way in my punch, and I'm basically trying to look from the score line to the punch and from the edge to the punch and try to get that amount of space as close to even as I can. Okay, and then I would punch it. Now, if you're making several, you just have to get one done. And then I'll show you what I did was I just took a pen or use my score line and make a mark, because then I only have to think once and I can just line that right in there. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the camera. Let's see, you will if I take and put a darker mark. Okay. So then you can take and I can line that right on the edge of my punch. And then I know, and I don't have to worry about, oh, am I going to be even enough or not? I know that it's going to be. All right. And then I kept that punch and of course made use of it on our cute little squirrel card. All right. So once you have done that, now there are a couple of other tricks that we need to do. We want to get rid of this. So we're going to get rid of this. Right? Is it right here? Let me think. Hang on. Small corner square. we're going to get rid of this. That small, tiny square that you created when you did your scoring. And we're also going to get rid of one of these two. You can do it either way. Now, for me, I'm going to tell you, because I'm getting rid of this X, this is why I get rid of this. Okay? So those are the things that you're going to cut. And you're going to follow right along the score line. Don't go past. This is where I have to have my big paper scissors to kind of try to keep me cutting straight. And I still didn't do the best job. Okay. And then there's that little square that we need to cut out as well. So once you get those two tabs cut, now you're going to fold those scoring pieces. And how it works, the next thing that you're going to do is right here, we want to cut at an angle. And right here, we want to cut a little triangle. You want to give yourself some little nice angle cuts. And that kind of gives it a miter effect. And we will see. We don't need to do that up top because you can have it squared off. It's mainly this bottom that you want to have it done. So now, right along this edging, that's where you're going to run your seal. Tear tape is great for this project. You can use the white Tombow. You just might have to hold it or use a paper clip to clip it into place until it dries. But that creates your pouch. Oh my goodness. Before you do that, Shannon, silly girl. Uh-oh. Okay. I'll just do my other one really quick. Because we punched a window, we need to have something protecting that window laid in there. Otherwise, all of our treats might fall off. Now, if you're doing something like the bag of the little pouches of nutrition nuts or something, nutritious nuts, you can have the little punch and you don't have to really worry about, let me go ahead and move my screen tool. It's probably throwing me off a little bit. You don't necessarily have to worry about having something to cover and protect that window box. Because that's in essence what we did, was we created a little window box. All right. So what you're going to do, again, let me fold up all my score lines real quick. Before you glue that little piece of window sheet that we had, you want to take and put your adhesive, tear tape, seal, whatever, on that around the edges. And I've given you a 3x3 to make sure that you have plenty of room to put whatever adhesive and it not show. So now we have a nice window in there. Now go back to creating our little pouch like I started earlier. You see, we can fix it. I mean, I could have pulled that off, but it was going to tear because I had put a lot of adhesive to make sure my pouch stays nice and closed. All right, so see, we now have this cute little pouch envelope that we can fit all kinds of goodies in. And these little guys are going to be so cute to fit in there. So we don't want to leave it to where it won't fall out. So before you put anything in, you're going to take a standard hole punch. You can use any punch if you have a ribbon slot punch. You can even do this with your scissors if you need to just poke a hole. But you're going to put a punch, and I just do it right kind of in the center above that window. And it may be a little thick, so you may have to use some extra hand strength because you may get a little piece of that window sheeting. So let's go ahead and finish the decorative parts, and then we'll talk about closing it up and filling it in. So we're going to use this little strip, this long, it's 1 inch by 9, I believe. And we're going to do what I like to call a belly band. And you could make your window down here and put your decorativeness up here. I just did it this way. But you want to leave a little bit of room if you're putting in something that has some body to it. You know, a nut pouch or like these candies, if they sink down there, they're going to take up some space. So you don't want to pull your belly band super tight, because when you go to fill it, it needs to be able to expand. But other than that, you're just going to adhere that as close and evenly as you can. Now, I always put my seam on the front because for me, and usually offset, because for me, I'm typically going to decorate on top of my belly band, which is what we're going to do right here. So we're going to go ahead and I'm not going to show this to you, but we're going to stamp the Nuts About You, and then I punch that out with a circle punch. It was the 1 1/4 that we no longer have, and I'm putting it flat right there. And I'm going to run my little acorn, and you can do it however you want, but I'm going to fold it in half and run that loop through it, hopefully. And hopefully have enough and have cooperating fingers that you can bring the 2 tails back through the loop. My grandma taught me that as being called a Lark's knot. A lot of times it's used in quilting, sewing, and bookmarks. So now my little acorn has this really cute dangle of thread, and then I just go ahead and put a regular knot after that. But for me, it's a very easy way. And the main reason I'm putting a little bit more of a knot is just to bring a little something to it. All right, and then you're going to decide where you want that, and you're going to put whatever adhesive. I normally would have selected a glue dot, and I'm just realizing that I didn't bring glue dots out here with me. So if you don't have an adhesive that can hold this metal acorn, I'll show you with mine. You can take and attach it to whatever regular adhesive you have by using those little threads. And you can kind of crisscross them however you need to make them go, and put them in your little adhesive as well. But however you want that to go. Now, note that that belly band is going to slide around a little bit, so you may want to put just a touch of adhesive on the back. Oops, and see, that's already gone off. So you're really going to want to have some good adhesive there. A glue dot is really what I recommend. So it'll look great on there. Mine's going to look a little wonky. Then you're going to put whatever tree. I have a few of these extras, so I'm just going to fill my pouch up so you can see kind of what I'm talking about when I say your pouch kind of, you know, when you put stuff in it, it opens up, right? It kind of gets fat. I know. I wish I'd had this many for each of your pouches because they're so adorable, but apparently everyone else up there are adorable as well. My acorn is not going to stay on until I go get a regular glue dot, so I apologize to you. You'll have to figure that out for yourself. And the last step is to just use your ribbon, this ivory ribbon, to go through there. Now, you can do it a couple ways. You could do it just like I did the acorn, or I will show you a standard easy way is to just feed it through and bring your 2 ends together. The reason I like this is it helps pull it, and it's easy for someone to undo. Even if you create a knot, this is a nice thick ribbon, so it's easy to get undone. But most of your stuff won't fall out if you're careful. If you're careful. If you're concerned about it, put a little seal up there at the top as well. And I'm going to try to lay my little acorn back on there. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this Squirrely Treat pouch and coordinating note card for fall. And I look forward to seeing you next month when we will be making some super cool, beautiful Christmas cards. So thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.